The Guardians begin fighting the Pure Ones. Any sign of Claude? Soren asks. No, not yet. Maybe he didn't make it in time, Ruby suggests. Gilfie sighs. I hope so. Okay, stop falling back. The owls fly back to the tree with the enemy on their tail. As they near the tree, suddenly several other guardians come down on the Pure Ones with nets made of burning vines. Many are able to get away, but a few either fall to the ground, trapped under the burning vines, or get away with a few small burns. The guardians retreat into the tree, with a few captives. Part 1 is complete. Now for Part 2. We have to stop digging the trenches and prepare for the sneak attack. No, you can't! Dewlap shouts. Ethelred looks at her perplexed. Oh, why not? You've already damaged the tree by tying the vines together, so those soldiers would get stuck. Digging trenches could damage the roots if done improperly. The tree has suffered severe damage before, and always managed to heal itself. Dewlap, you'll be in charge of digging the trenches. You can ensure that the roots are not damaged. Ethelred nods. Okay, Soren, you're in charge of rations. They're gonna try starving us out, which means they'll have control over the hunting grounds. Thankfully, we were able to move most of the young and a majority of the mates to a secure location. They'll only have bugs to eat. Primrose speaks up. We've mapped out when we'll have some of the guardians do a mock raid of their camps. Remember, you only want them to see you and follow after you. Try not to fight unless you have to. Eglantine speaks up. Soren, can I help in the medical bay? We captured a Pure One. Her name is Ginger, and it's okay, Egg. You help in the medical bay. Well, we should probably get started. Yes, I'll show you how to ration the food. Soren is led down a hidden corridor along with several other owls. Listen, Soren, I don't trust Dewlap. What? Why? I can't tell you. Vow of silence. King and Queen's orders. Listen, you need to trust me. We can't trust her. You'll be in charge of rations, but you'll also be in charge of the secret trenches. Otilissa, you're to direct us in how to dig the trench so we won't damage the roots. Yes, sir. Soren nods and starts helping it with the trench under Otilissa's instructions. A montage begins. Soren hands out food to the owls while also helping with the trench. Digger directs the guardians on the various paths they should take under the tree. Twilight leads the raids, and Gilfie and Sylvana encourage the owls to keep going with stories and songs. As time goes by, Soren notices that the food supply is running pretty low pretty quickly, so he hands out less food. The Pure Ones arrive at the paths the owls were to take, forcing the guardians to take cover while Digger draws up new paths and times to take those paths. Gilfie and Sylvana continue to try and keep up morale, but Dewlap shoos them away. The montage ends with there being very little food left. The Pure Ones meeting the guardians at every possible path at almost all hours of the day and night. And the Diggers slowly becoming depressed. Cut to the Parliament. The owls are discussing these issues with the band. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. I rationed everything out like Elzorub said, but the food supplies had run out so quickly. We know, Soren. You did very well in that regard. I know the trenchers were happy with your initial packages when Dewlap and I would deliver them. Speaking of Dewlap, Elzorub speaks up. Why have you been keeping Gilthy and Sylvana from singing and telling stories to the owls working the trench? The songs and stories are distracting. We would have been done ages ago if not for them. If I may offer a theory, I think that these recent mishaps have been the tree's way of punishing us. We've been trusting owlets who have done nothing but cause trouble. We've been overusing the tree's resources, slowly killing it. Otalissa speaks up. Actually, the book I've been reading suggests that pellet burying... Oh, shut up about your books. No one cares. I'm your teacher, not you. You'll never be anything but a disappointment. Gilthy puffs up her feathers. Hey, that's uncalled for. All she did was mention something she read in a book. Enough, everyone. Struckströmer speaks up. I think we're all just tired. In 1 or 2 days, the trench will be complete. Gilthy, Otalissa, please go to my hollow and rest. I will be there in a moment. I must speak with Dewlap. The owls, except for Dewlap and Struckströmer, leave. That was very cruel, Dew. I know. I'm sorry, Dew, you're like a sister to all of us. We trust and love you with all our hearts. You've provided for our tree for many years. I know sometimes we are harsh towards you, Hazelrib in particular, but I think it's because he sees a darkness within and is trying to make you see it, and when you don't, that's when he becomes frustrated. Listen to me, Dew. If there is anything wrong, anything at all, tell me. Now's the chance to let it all out. Don't let it be too late. Nothing's wrong, Strömer. Okay, Dew. Just remember, we all love you no matter what. I, too, love you all. Struckströmer stares at her for a moment before flying off to her hollow, where Gilthy and Otalissa are sleeping. Struckströmer smiles and nestles between them. Cut to an intense battle. Soren is flying around when he sees Struckströmer, Gilthy, Otalissa, and Dewlap talking about something mid-flight. Suddenly, Naira swoops in and tries to attack Gilthy. Struckströmer blocks her as the dream ends. Soren wakes up and charges out of his hollow, where he sees Ezzelrib. Ezzelrib, where are Gilthy and the others? They're about to take off with some of the older soldiers. Dewlap's at her trench. Why? Struckströmer's in danger. I'll explain on the way out. Soren and Ezzelrib fly away.